Joining me today on the bandwagon is a very special guest. One, not only is he my cousin, but also a founding member of the Punjabi Villans, who are arguably one of the biggest Punjabi movement football organisations in the UK. Money, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. How's it going?
Good. So this is a bit of a strange one, really. Again, which is a more a more formal kind of interview.
I know, it's weird.
I know. So how's it been going?
Good, not bad. Just in living lockdown life. Waiting. Well, the barbers to slow down a little bit.
Getting that availability. This is the first one for me after having a trim. So hopefully people can start seeing that actually his haircut is actually pretty decent. But you got the Clark Kent going on.
Yeah. I know. I get ripped all the time.
No. It's fine. So the Punjabi Villains then, how did it start and what is it all about?
So we started about, I would say, 12 plus years ago. Probably even longer than that. I think I joined about 12 odd years ago. But it just started off as just up and lads knowing each other, a group of friends that followed the same football team and started to go to the games together and stuff like that. It's actually a guy called Neats that started it. But unfortunately, he passed away a good few years back. But he was the one that started, so all props go to him for having the vision to start it. But that's how it started. It was just kind of going to the games, mutual friends, having a good time. And that just grew into knowing other people that supported Villa, asking them if they wanted to kind of jump on board, which they did. And it kind of stemmed from there. I was one of the early members. I wouldn't say I was a founding member, but I was definitely one of the early members into it. And when I say members, it's not like we pay a membership like that. You don't have to get, you don't have to pay to come in or get beaten with a stick or anything. Appreciated. So
Not yet.
Yeah. So so we just kind of maintained contact through before WhatsApp. It was, I'm pretty sure. So it was like email trails and stuff. And then it was the WhatsApp chats and stuff like that. Kept getting bigger and bigger. But in terms of where we got kind of really big and really popular with the wider public was probably about 2 or 3 years ago. I think that's when we kind of really gained some momentum. And that was because of something that we dealt with that happened in the national limelight, which was a racist incident. And the way we dealt with it, we can go into it, but the way we dealt with that kind of snowballed, and our platform grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And then obviously when we got bigger, we were able to concentrate on doing kind of good for our community through charity events and just making people aware what Punjabi people are all about, really. Yeah. I must say actually that we took inspiration from the Wolves boys, Punjabi Wolves. They were the first guys that kind of done the whole Punjabi supporters group. So out to Punjabi Wolves, they were the kind of the OGs in this. And we've got no issues in kind of giving props to anyone or bigging anyone up, because the main part of Punjabi Villains is that we don't have our egos are in check. There's plenty of us to kind of check each other,
pull each other back or keep people
back. Yeah. There's not a main bunda that runs PV. So if you see me, that doesn't mean I run it. If you see someone else, that doesn't mean they run it. It's not run by anyone. But there's not a leader or anything like that. So
over collective.
It is, and that the reason for that is literally just to make sure that people are on their toes when it comes to coming down a peg or two if they feel a bit special. if they're getting a bit as it happens, everyone's human. They might get a bit bumped out if they get too much praise. So our biggest thing is to be faceless. Really, this is probably one of a handful of interviews that we've ever done where there's someone on screen.
Yeah, someone face.
And even in our own podcast, our podcast is audio only. Just part of the reason is just because we don't want people to associate necessarily a person with PV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's important.
So there you go, a bit of a scoop here, anyway. So it was going to happen. Just taking it back, we'll get to the incident a little bit later on. Why did you feel there was a bit of a need for a Punjabi Villa organisation? Was there? I'll probably lead into it. Was there something where the Apne fans? Because normally the Apne fans are like traditional United, Liverpool, or whatever, Arsenal. Was the team in itself, or was there an organisation missing the Apna influence in that way, the Desi market, so to speak?
We didn't look at it like that originally, and we probably barely look at it like that now.
Yeah.
It was just like-minded friends that wanted to get together and go to a football game together. And you've been to football matches, and probably the majority of people have now. But we've been to football matches in the 80s and 90s where it was really intimidating. When we're minorities now, but we were really the minorities back in them days. And you do have that kind of strength in numbers attitude as well. So it was, if you could go with a few one there, then you just felt a bit more safer as well. In terms of kind of the market of in terms of a marketing way, it's been like that. It's just kind of it's always been a friendship first, friendship led organization.
Yeah.
So it's never been kind of anything more than that. It's always been okay. So what should we do now? Should we do this and should we do that? And you just do that by talking with each other. So it's that's how we got started, and that's really how we are right now.
Yeah, I think what also kind of leading on to was that how it's kind of professionalized from being just an email thread. Okay, it's the jump onto WhatsApp is pretty easy, isn't it? Like, because there's a bunch of like-minded people. But then obviously there's been a conscious decision to see if you ever go, when you guys do look onto the website or you do look on how the accounts are run, there's almost a business-like feel of it in terms of it's so professional. So whereas you got a bunch of desi up and they will be like, yeah, let's do this, and it's kind of like half-hearted, you can actually see that there's like time and commitment put into that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that. I mean, and we came onto socials quite early. And again, it was just kind of making our presence known that, okay, Villa have got a Punjabi following, actually, and that's how we kind of started on the socials. But then as we got more popular, we used to get asked for things, do you guys have t-shirts? Do you guys have badges? Where do you guys go pre-match? Where do you go post-match? This, that, the other. And we thought, you know what? I mean, we've got people asking us all the time for these things. Let's just do it. Let's create a shop, a PV shop. Let's create a website. Let's put news on there for whatever's happening in Villa or whatever else. And it all stemmed from us just getting bigger and bigger. And it's not only, I know we call Punjabi Villans, but we're not just associated with Villa. We highlight, and we will continue to highlight, and champion all Punjabi people. Anything if someone does something good and they're Punjabi, we would 100% champion it. We'll use our platform to kind of raise their profile. So to help them out as much as we possibly can. If it, whether it be someone playing football, weightlifting, martial arts, no matter what it is, we'll do that. And kind of any sales that we've done in terms of, I think probably 90 to 95% of our sales have come from Caucasian people. They love us, they love us and what we're about. And every single penny doesn't go into anyone's pocket. It just gives us the opportunity to launch other campaigns asking anyone for help. You know, if we want to do an outdoor event, indoor event, if we want to hire something for charity, if we want to do X, Y, and Z, everyone's got full-time jobs. Everyone's doing well. Everyone's got families. This isn't a business. This is it's literally something to help all of our community.
Yeah.
Again, we are called Punjabi Villans. We do support Aston Villa, but we've got in our mind, we've got a bigger picture.
Yeah.
We've got a massive picture where we want to go and how we're going to get there.
So, how soon, when did the kind of dialogue with the main team, so the Premier League team, start coming into play, where they started interacting with yourselves?
It was probably we've had some contact with them very early on, because I'm assuming, like with any football team, they have fan groups, and you can be associate fan groups and stuff like that, and be registered and be part of the club in some sort of way. So we've always kind of registered with Villa through their official kind of pathways. But in terms of actually getting in there, having dialogue with the staff, and even probably having a bit of influence on some policies and stuff, again, probably the last few years, as our platforms, as they've seen the work that we've done, we've kind of got more and more, influence is the wrong word, but we can speak to a lot more people in actually the actual institution of Aston Villa. We also sit on the fans board, so we have meetings with the chief exec and stuff like that, along with other fan groups.
Any chance you could tell them which players to sign?
No.
Or where is Jack Grealish?
Yeah, exactly. No. We don't have that much power yet, but
But through this year, you go in there, then you slowly take it over.
Yeah,
you work yourself in there.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's been a quite fast, actually, from where we were to where we got to in the last few years. It's been we've kind of rocketed to somewhere now where we've come from not nothing but kind of no influence to being quite influential and having a bit of a following. I think pre-COVID, when the last time we went to a match, and there was quite a few of us together, we had loads of people coming up to us trying to take this and stuff like that.
How many members are there at the moment now, roughly?
Again, we've got no official count on membership. We've got like I don't know, between 300-500 on Facebook. We've got almost 7,000 followers on Twitter. We've got open messenger group on Facebook as well, closed group on WhatsApp. I mean, all of them are in our eyes members. You can be
yeah, of course.
It doesn't matter, but we haven't got you can only have an accurate account of membership if you have a membership fee, you get a membership and all that, and we don't have that. So I don't know.
It's more of a movement rather than a squad in that way.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. We want to stand for more than just. I think with the platform that we've got now, we should aim to stand for more than just being this is at football. If we can do something with our platform for the good of our community, the wider community, then we should, and we will. That's what we're all about. We're not about anything else but doing good and representing Punjabi people in the right way. We don't swear. We don't do stupid gullan online, because at the end of the day, we weren't taught to do that. You got to, as Punjabi people, we represent our people, so we can't represent our people in a negative way. But at the same time, we're not afraid to tackle certain subjects or say certain things that maybe other fan groups or other organisations wouldn't be. But again, that's the Punjabi way, isn't it? It's that kind of that anchor that we've got. That we're not scared of kind of raising things to get the greater good out of something.
So which I know it, but for the people kind of like tuning in, which are some of the issues that you've managed to kind of get over that crossover into kind of mainstream thinking? Because I know one from the top of my head where you've been quite vocal about the whole Kisan movement um, over in Delhi, and then this kind of following up from that, when you do get feedback from sort of your non-Punjabi members, what's their kind of attitude to it?
So the biggest thing I would say that we've done in terms of the wider public is just raise the profile of Punjabi people and get people to understand what Punjabi people are all about. Even if it's something simple like, why do we wear turbans? Why does someone wear a turban? We've done a couple of kind of ask me anything type things.
Yeah.
No judgment, ask us anything and we'll answer it, basically. And we had so many people asking us basic questions, which is fine. There's no problem. But when you answer them, you're kind of educating.
Yeah.
And we do that regularly. We bring up stuff like the Kisan movement, where, we've probably alerted people that would never have known. And we have, because we've had messages saying, you know what, thank you, never have known this if it wasn't for you guys. It's crazy what's happening, what can we do to support X, Y, and Z? We got that much attention from it. We had to release a Kisan t-shirt and flag, which all the money from that goes to MLSS. So when people do say, well, how can we help? That will give direction now to help us.
So we're just so that is so Midland Langar Seva is the charity that you're partnered up with on that. And where can people get those that merch?
It's punjabivillans.co.uk. So just go to the store option there, and as well as the Punjabi Villans merch, you've got Aston Villa merch, but that's where you can find the stuff as well. And all the money goes to MLSS.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point and a really good example around the whole Kisan stuff, what you've done, because I think what's very striking, especially my experiences from Aston Villa looking at it, is that the match day attendance is not necessarily reflective of the whole area of the whole fan base. And I know the club in itself has made a lot of effort to try and diversify the audience coming in, and you guys alongside Punjabi Spurs and Punjabi Wolves are kind of like leading examples of that in that way.
Yeah.
How far do you reckon that might go?
There's no limit really to what we can do and what we can achieve for someone on a match day experience, in terms of getting more brand faces in the door, getting the normal fan to kind of get themselves familiarized with us. So it's like if there's a couple of lads that had Punjabi Villan t-shirts on around Villa Park, they'd automatically have a lot of the crowd think, oh, look, they're the Punjabi Villans. Straight away, it's an icebreaker. Straight away.
Yeah.
They can come to you and you can come to them, and slowly you can build up a friendship in that sense. So the main thing is that kind of familiarity between one another in a match day. Aston Villa Foundation are doing some really, really, really good work. I think they're leading the country in a lot of work that they do, to be fair. They always talk to us along with other groups, LGBT group, there's Villains Together, to see how they can engage with the local community. Because like you said, the local communities, it's all brown faces. There's, but in the crowd, it's probably 95%, 90% white. So, that their kind of viewpoint is, look, how do we make Villa inclusive to everyone? How do we get everyone wanting tickets to go see Aston Villa? Not just the traditional fans. How do we get the kids around the corner to support us? Because they support Man United, they support Liverpool, but they should be our fans. And they work with us and other groups to kind of say, look, how do we do this? How do we do that? And then, that's how we can engage with the club to try and make a difference. And on our end, it benefits us, because obviously the more Punjabis in the crowd, the more comfortable you'll feel Let's be honest, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think Aston Villa are doing really good work in terms of trying to engage with the minority guys, and we are a cog in that machine, I guess.
So then, you know, I think you kind of alluded to it at the beginning of the conversation, the incident which kind of propelled you lot onto on a higher level. Just are you able to just share what was going on at that point?
Yeah. So it was a season that we signed Nakamba and McGinn. I think McGinn might have been already signed. The season that we signed, there's a midfielder called Marvelous Nakamba, black player, and you know what? I can't even remember who we were playing. But what happened was the day after we played a team, I can't remember who it was. A clip went viral, and the clip was Villa kids at half time singing a chant about Marvelous Nakamba. But the chant that they were doing suggested that McGinn was Nakamba's master. So connotations of slavery, basically. And the clip went viral. It blew up, that clip did. National headlines, national news, blew up on social media. The kids were getting death threats, X, Y, and Z, right? But then when we saw the clip, we didn't see hatred, and we didn't see kind of animosity, that evilness in someone's heart doing a chant. We just saw a bunch of kids having fun, you know, and it was half time, so they were just bumped up at half time. I think we were that much, and we didn't see like NF behavior or anything like. It was just a bunch of kids having fun. So I made a tweet saying, "Look, obviously we understand what it's like. We understand the tweet was the chant was racist. We understand what it's like being minority people dealing with racism. But instead of condemning these kids, which everyone was doing, they were getting all sorts of threats and hatred online. I go, instead of condemning these kids, let's try and educate them. Let's try and tell them what they did wrong. Let's try and show them how they could have not been in that situation and dealt with it." Basically, it was along those lines.
So they were just basically, they weren't realizing the connotation of the chant. It just seemed like they were having fun and just singing along, and just didn't realize the consequences of their words, of what people would be taking it.
Exactly, right. So they were just singing, and all of a sudden this happened. It blew up. So we released this tweet, and you know, our tweet blew up, absolutely blew up. We had, you know, national kind of reporters retweeting it and media retweeting it. We had all the media reach out, DM us, can we interview you guys, X, Y, and Z. And that you know, it was quite overwhelming then, because that was the first time that's ever happened to us. But
then you needed a spokesperson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you go from being anonymous to say, "Oh, bloody hell, who's face?"
Exactly. But what happened is one of the kids' dads found our tweet, and he reached out to us. He messaged us, and he goes, a nutshell version. He goes, "Look, I've seen your tweet. You're the only people out there that are trying to help us and extend a friendly hand. Everyone else is they want to kind of kill us. Is it possible that we can have a chat?" So we go, "Yeah, of course, no problem." We talked to him, and I think there's about 20 kids, all friends and associates that went to the game that day from Birmingham. I think it was Fulham, something like that. And they went down, and the kids didn't know what they were saying. They didn't know that. They didn't put two and two together. The whole McGinn's master, Nakamba's a black player. They didn't put two and two together. They just heard a chant at Arsenal, and they repeated that chant, just putting in the Villa players. So they heard Arsenal with the Arsenal players, And they just swapped the Arsenal players, put 2 Villa players in, said the same chant. Right, really simple mistake. So he reached out to us, and we kind of kept everyone updated on social media, saying, listen, one of the dads reached out to us, we're going to try and meet the kids and X, Y, and Z and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, Villa were doing the same thing. They were trying to, obviously because the kids were season ticket holders, they were trying to do things on their end. Cut a long story short, we met with the dad and his son. I think a lot of the kids were scared to meet with us, so they didn't. Whether that be kind of, scared of what the media would say, whatever else. BBC wanted to make a documentary about it. They came down with their cameras, but I think, understandably, the kind of family didn't really want to be filmed or anything like that, so they couldn't really use the footage. But we had a meeting. We had a meeting with them, and we just explained to the kid, like, basically, when you say these things, when you say stuff like that, even though you think it's okay, you see those people over there that haven't got white skin, they're going to really get caught up about that, and we explained to them where we've come from, how we came to the country, the things that our granddads used to get abused with, our dads used to get abused with, the kinds of things I used to say, them, us growing up, what we went through growing, when you, I was saying to the lad, but when you're kind of living your life, you're living it through a person that's never been through prejudice, right? But I go, when we live life through our eyes, we encounter this kind of stuff every day. But it's funny because not only did we open the kids' eyes, even his parents were saying, "Oh my God, never even knew that. Never knew it was like this. Never knew it was like that." You put it in perspective. And because it was a chant about a black person, one of our brothers, Jason, who's a black guy, a season ticket holder Villa, he came down and he kind of broke it down from his point of view, the black community's point of view.
Yeah.
And that was it. And I'm still in contact with the dad today. And it's all good. So for us, that kid is he's been educated in terms of what we could have said to him.
So it was almost like, in terms of the incident, do you feel that if people are really scared to talk about these things, from an education point, because it feels like the easiest thing to do is just go out and condemn, but then that doesn't really help solve the problem at that point. You can kind of, you can just see it now, especially on social media. It's becoming more and more apparent, and with the whole kick it out campaign and taking the knee, you could see some of the arguments in the background, flaring away, and almost getting distracted from what the actual point is about, kind of re-educating people in order to terms of saying, look, there's only one direction this is going to go. Educate yourselves and come with us.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you're right. I think people are scared about it. But we're Punjabi. We are Punjabi people. We've got compassion. That's one of our things. We have compassion for people. So when you've got empathy and compassion for someone, you try and see the good in that person, right? Automatically, what we would do is try and see, okay, is this look, don't get me wrong. Some people you're not going to help. Some people are bigoted. They're racist. You don't want to help it. You're not going to change their mind. You're not going to try. You're not going to try and educate those people. But when you can see someone that's either misguided or just needs a little tweak or just can hear it from your point of view, you should always try and do that, right? Because if you might never ever see that person again ever in your life, but if they run into another brown face, they'll think twice because of the conversation that you had on the other person, right? And as Punjabis, we should always see the good in people first. We should always try and help first, right? That's how we've been raised. And I think that was a good example of what you're supposed to do in terms of education, rather than clickbaiting, a tweet that's going to get loads of likes saying, condemning someone or
Yeah, because the pressure would have been on you guys to actually jump on. Sorry, forgive the pun.
Yeah.
Jump on that bandwagon to say, yeah, they're wrong. But yet you swam against the tide, didn't you? In that way,
100%. That's what makes us different, I guess. PV. We don't follow fashion. We don't follow the crowd. We always try and do what's right, and it's not any one person. We discuss these types of things in our group and say, look, what do you reckon? And we all come together. We all kind of make a decision, and generally speaking, we always think pretty much the same. And yeah, you're right. It would have been really easy just to say, oh, look at these bloody idiots and X, Y, and Z. But we haven't been raised like that, and we won't raise our kids like that. We've been raised to see if we can help someone first. What are they about? Can we help them? Can we make the situation better? All right. If we can't, we can't. It's fine. But at least give it a try first. And we're not scared of going the grain. We're not scared of the hard path. So
on some of the lighter notes, so did Villa then build up a little bit of a dialogue with you guys to do that jointly, or then what happened after that then?
Yeah, so Villa met with them separately, with the kind of West Midlands Police, the football unit type thing, and they've done the whole official thing, But we talked at that time. We had talked to Villa about just about the whole education aspect of it. I think it was quite a new concept for people.
Did you find out that they were lacking the club in itself? I'm not just saying pointing out Villa, because I reckon it's going to be the same for a lot of teams out there.
Yeah, I would say so, because a club is very black and white in that sense, right? They're going to say, "Oh, what happened? Are you using the wrong? You're banned, or here's your season ticket. Give us your season ticket," right? A lot of clubs are like that, but that did start a dialogue of saying, "Look, let's rehabilitate these people. Let's try and educate them. Let's try and do that." But the culture of education, I think, went straight through the whole club. The staff, the stewards, the board members, everything. That type of, okay, let's educate everyone so we can be in a better place. So whether they used us as an example of this works, so let's try it, I'm not too sure, but changes from there definitely were made at Villa for sure, because we're in contact with Villa, so we know what changes were made.
No, it's just it's really interesting in terms of like it had to take such a negative incident for a lot of positive outcomes to happen.
Yeah.
So do you get a chance to, like, obviously at this point in meet any of the players? Are you able to kind of do joint workshops? Do they go into the communities yet, or is that something down the line?
Well, we had big plans before COVID. We're in contact with a few of the players, but COVID kicked in and it kind of just dampened everything. Really, couldn't do anything in terms of what we wanted to do. Can't go too much into it because we should probably do it. But yeah, we're in contact with players, and the players are really good. They're willing to work with us whenever they can. We sent one of the Villa legends, Ian Taylor, a Punjabi Villans t-shirt.
I saw that. That's on
he was loving it. And the main player that we're in contact with, the main superstar that we're in contact with, is Arjun Reiki. He's a young Punjabi lad playing for Villa.
He dominated Liverpool when he played.
Yeah, tore him apart.
Dominated him. They had to put their first team out.
Yeah,
against kids. Exactly,
and he's playing in a really, really good Villa youth team at the moment. They've got some really, really quality players, and he's a starter. Right, he's a starter. I chatted to him, and he's a really, really good kid. He's a really, really humble kid, and he's got no ego about him. So and we're fully 100%, 1,000,000% behind him. We want to try and give him as much bump as possible, because what is it? One of 0.2 players or Asians in the Premier in football or something.
Yeah, I mean, Why do you think that is, though? You've talked quite heavily around, Desi mentality, Punjabi mentality. I
Yeah.
think it's kind of an easy excuse that people say, oh yeah, we concentrate our kids on to go into like into red brick jobs, like doctors, pharmacists. But you've played with them. I've played with them. You've played against them. South Asian players, particularly Punjabi players, that you think this guy is going to make it, and somehow that's not reflective. Yeah, like if you look at the Premier League, they're signing players from all over the world, and being Punjabi shouldn't make any difference. But why do you think there is just that lack of representation?
I mean, to a certain degree, it is the whole kind of conveyor belt thing. Education, get married, have kids, have a family. It's more of a stability thing. But I truly believe that, like you said, we've played with these players that you think, oh my God, this guy's unbelievable. But if you go to the scouts, if you go to, the clubs, they're still some of the parts of the clubs are still very old fashioned. There's still that systemic racism in football. So if you've got a white kid and a Punjabi kid, right? The Punjabi kid has to be at least 2 times better than the white kid before he gets picked up. That's 100%.
So that's not obviously that's not actually factual. It's more of the experience.
Of course not.
It's more of the experience. The chances that people
100%. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
This is just my opinion. Right? You have to be extremely good to get over anyone else. When you look at the scouts, they're like probably mid 50s, 60s. Still come from that era of the 80s and the 90s. Again, this is all my opinion. So you've got that factor that kid has to be really, 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 really good. The talent's out there. Of course it is, because football's been popular with our community for since the 70s, 60s.
Yeah.
And we've had great players since then. There's a whole host of things. I mean, like you said, getting a base in this country first was the most important thing. All right. And then when the base was there, getting your kids sorted out and then getting them into sports. Yeah, you could do that. But the other element is everything fair on the other end, getting picked up by scouts, getting into clubs? Is it fair there? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it is, but
how many actual Punjabi or South Asian scouts are there as well?
Good point.
Because if they're going to be changing that system, and they'll say, okay, then fair enough. Let's as a scout movement, so to speak, they'll say, yeah, let's get more South Asian scouts in, and there's no one there. I mean, we've just had the two lads who have just become referees, and they're going to be that many up and going to becoming into referees. I think that will be probably the same around the whole scouting. You'll see loads of people doing the level 1s and doing all the kind of training stuff, but then that goes into like domestic Desi football with your Birmingham tournaments, Walsall tournaments, all of these Wonderbolts and some of the other teams that are out there.
There's been a real big push in the last, I would say, probably 5 to 10 years of Asians going into coaching, running their teams really professionally. A lot of money's been pumped into Asian football and stuff like that. But I've had conversations with people in the FA, Asian people, and they've said that there's so much red tape to get anything done properly and pull through is almost impossible. So if you want to improve the pathways for Asian coaches and Asian teams to, get courses and go on courses and stuff, it is available, but to kind of really make any type of difference is quite hard at the moment because there's so much red tape involved. But with that being said, there are a lot more qualified Asian coaches now. A lot more kind of players are getting coached properly. They're treating their bodies a little bit better. So that definitely has been improved since when we were young, when we were at school or college. There was no one that was FA qualified when we was growing up.
No, or if they did, it wasn't known at all. Really.
It wasn't known, right? You could eat what you want, do what you want,
but I think I remember when at uni actually when you said it was like as soon as everyone's really skillful up until about 18, then the whole Desi diet kicks in.
Yeah, it's true.
Bacardi, Bacardi,
true.
mixed grills, all of that. And then all of a sudden, that same player that you think, oh my God, this geezer's going to make it. This is about 3 stone high, it's 3 stones heavier and ready to get married.
It's true, man. It's so true. And we all knew more than one guy like that. He was like, oh man, you could have made it. What happened? And he's next thing you know, he's got 3 kids and a moto choto with him. Oh yeah, I mean, it happens, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, hopefully, look, at the end of the day, if you was to say, have PV got a mission statement? Our mission statement, our kind of main objective as PV is to get a Punjabi kid through the doors at Villa. That's our main kind of objective. So whatever doors we can smash open, whatever bridges we can build throughout the course of our existence, our kind of main objective is to get a Punjabi kid through the doors. And hopefully, Arjun will make it. And he's going to be like an important figure nationally for all Punjabis, because he will make it, and kids can look up to him and think, you know what, he's made it. I'm going to make it.
We've seen some of the impact, like Jan Dander's done is another guy who's been like,
he had a massive impact.
Massive impact. He's breaking down barriers and doors and that side, and now we're seeing it with Arjun, at Villa. Hopefully we'll start seeing it more and more. Just going on to kind of the first team, what have you made of him this season? I mean, they're 11th at the moment, so this is probably the highest they'll ever get for a while.
Yeah, I mean, what it is, you've got it. Villa are quite frustrating at the moment, where they can't. You think they're going to go on a really good run, and then they just lose the next game, and that's just because of the player quality that we've got at the moment. But you've got to put things into perspective. 2 seasons ago, where were we? Last season, where were we? You know, we survived by the skin of our teeth last season.
Battered the champions as well.
Yeah, so exactly. So
7-2,
yeah. So, you know, you've got to put things in perspective. We're on the right course. We've got owners that are willing to invest, and I heard that they're quite rich. So, you know, hopefully money won't be an issue to get players in. And I think with the Premiership, the longer you stay in the Premiership, the more you can spend, you know, because fun to play. But I think they're getting rid of that, ain't they?
Well, I don't know. I think it's been a bit of a weird one, because the impact of what COVID's had with empty stadiums, etc.
Yeah,
it's really hit the market. So I think we're a bit in uncharted territory. So I think this transfer season, this summer, is going to be really important to find out how teams actually being affected. Because on paper, United, for example, they need 3 or 4 signings, definitely 3, ideally 4. Those players are available, like Haaland, Mbappe, and all of these ones who you know, if you're playing Championship Manager, not Football Manager, the original Championship Manager, you'll be like, yeah, we got to sign them. But they've got the money. Will they spend? Liverpool have got to spend if they're going to kind of, you know, wipe the season away and go for it. And you know, City are going to spend. City got a chance of signing Messi, Haaland, or Mbappe together. And then, like, if they do, you might as well forget it for a little while again. You know, it's just, you know, because it is what it is. But with Villa, it's almost like trying to do it the old-fashioned way of like blooding the young team, having that mix of experience and young team. And I think 11th is midway, which is actually kind of personifies the movement, what they're doing now. So it'll be next season, which you'll probably see.
Yeah, I agree. I think top 10 for us this season is amazing, considering where we come from. Now that we've got youngsters coming through, and we've got a manager who plays the youngsters, we've got Ramsey that's played first team football, and we've got a few more on the brink of playing first team football. Millions if they come good. And then we just need probably a centre mid, striker, and a winger, probably a defender as well. So it's
a whole new team.
It's probably about 5 players of the next level up. But again, it's a building process. So
coming up to the Euros as well, do you think somehow we'll see a presence of Punjabi Villans there?
At the Euros, our crowds.
No, I'm saying like because you've got a domestic presence now. You've also, you know, are you building on like a European international presence and that? Is there any kind of plans in dialogue with FA or any?
Oh, okay, yeah. So we're part of a bigger group called Up and Out England.
Right.
Up and Out England are groups like ours that have all got together. So you got Derby, Rams, it was their idea to launch his Punjabi Villans. Upper Albion, Wolves, Spurs, groups, not just Punjabi groups. You got Bangla Bantams. You got all groups up and down the country that are part of Upper England. And again, their objective is to get more minorities into England games. To get them into Wembley to watch England games, and this, that, the other. So we're part of that. So keep a lookout for any kind of Zoom sessions or anything like that with Upper Albion. A few PV members in there. So Upper England, that is.
Okay, so in terms of kind of like winding it down in that way, is there what's the next 6 months looking like for the Punjabi Villans?
Just to go on as we've been going, really. I mean, once the country opens up a bit more, then we'll have some big plans. But for now, it's just trying to help people as much as we can from a distance, I guess. We managed to raise over 10 grand for the Kisan movement just a few months ago. We've done a couple of campaigns before that. So it's that type of thing. We get a lot of people messaging us for help as well. So it's just kind of being positive, having that Jadikala attitude, helping people. And then when it comes time to kind of really, when the country opens up, we can really put on them. We can host events and do them real good, get some solidarity between Punjabi people and all their communities together. Show the wider public what Punjabi people are all about. Because we do all the work anyway.
Yeah.
We do seva every day. We help everybody. We do everything. But we just haven't got, sometimes we haven't got the platforms to highlight that to the commoners, and hopefully PV can be, by using their platform to raise the profiles of these people. But yeah, for us, we're just going to keep going and doing what we do, and hopefully do more and more good.
Yeah, I think what you guys have done is absolutely amazing, and all the highest praise that we can give, and any kind of support, regardless of what your team, who you support. We should all be kind of uniting and backing these movements in each of the clubs. So Monnie, this is called the Bhandwagon. So this is an opportunity for, if there's anything on anything you want to raise, or just kind of, this is your chance to.
Listen, man, I'm related to you. I can raise a lot of things. So
yeah, I'll cut it around at this time, innit? So
I'll echo your point. Last thing from me, I'll just echo your point is, it doesn't matter which team you support, anything like that. We're Punjabi first, and then it's our teams afterwards. So as long as we can always help each other, regardless of what team you support, whatever else. Remember that we're all one community. We're all in it together, and we should always help each other no matter what, and bump each other up when we can as well. Let the egos and bump each other up as much as you can. Yeah.
All right, Monnie. I'll see you later, mate. All the best.
I might see you later.
Yeah, all right. See you later. Bye.